one of the specials, and by specials I mean two specials, that people equate to Cartoon Network, even though it wasn't a Cartoon Network property. Like, it just aired every year on Cartoon Network for several years.
Yep. I know
Were
where
the
you're going.
Scary Godmother
Yep.
specials. My God, the Scary Godmother specials had such a cult following, and for
I think I
good
know what that is.
reason.
Hold on. The Scary Godmother. Like, every time you say it, I'm like peeping, trying to remember.
So, Scary Godmother was this CGI cartoon special, two of them, and boy, with the CGI, boy is the CGI dated at this point.
I remember this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it
Yeah.
was like this little girl who was like dressed up in like a fairy princess costume, is getting bullied by her cousin.
Yeah, cousin
Blonde hair?
Jimmy.
Yeah,
Her
Jimmy.
cousin Jimmy.
Yeah,
And
I
then she
remember
gets
this
like
kid's
put
face.
in this haunted house, which turns out that this haunted house is a portal to another haunted house owned by this witch known as the Scary Godmother. And this little girl is invited to this Halloween party hosted by Scary Godmother and like her other like monster friends and whatnot, and they have a great time. And then they get back at Jimmy, and then it inspires a second special called Jimmy's Revenge, where his face gets stuck and he looks, again because of the CGI at the time, just looks creepy as hell. Oh man,
Yeah.
bad.
Probably scared than they wanted him to as well.
But like, these specials aired year after year after year after year on Cartoon Network, again during this time period. They weren't specifically Cartoon Network created. Like they were they were like these CGI specials that were made based off a children's book. Like they were based off of an actual thing. It wasn't just like a made for television / movie special or whatnot. Like, they were based off of a book. And like it was a very good relationship between like the creators of the movie and the creators of the creator of the book, from what I can remember from a Saber Spark video, if I can remember correctly. But like they were just fun. Like, again, like the CGI was just like even at that time kind of dated, but like now especially dated. But it was just great. And I think, again, the big part of it that people loved was the characters. Like, the characters made the special, especially the skeleton. The skeleton, everyone lived for the skeleton. Everyone now lives for the skeleton, because we are in that sassy phase of life and the internet and, ratioing people. Like you would, the skeleton would totally be in on that ratioing crowd. But even like, again, Scary Godmother herself, the werewolf guy that was always trying to eat the snacks, even though everyone was trying to get him to stop. The giant multiple-eyed monster was just this lovable
Bugaboo, I believe.
Yes, Bugaboo. And like even the vampires, like themselves, like the son was just kind of like whatever, but like the husband and wife, they were the fun ones. Like the dad just kind of like stuck in his I'm stuck in my vampire ways, and like the wife is just like, you gotta get with the times and you gotta let your son like enjoy himself. And then it's just like the son gets to dress up like a cowboy, and it's just,
I'm sorry, but the second special, Revenge of Jimmy, when the whole Halloween, everything was spooky, kept getting disarray. If you remember, Axel, the scene when they became alive, and the dad's like, he said, "What's that feeling in my chest?" He's like, "Oh no, it's my heart. I'm alive."
Yup. Oh my God, it was just, they were so much fun. Like the first one, I still stand by the first one being better than the Revenge of Jimmy. But like,
That's usually how it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to surpass what has already been done. Which, I mean, again, you know, like with the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, that's why like the Jacked Up Halloween is like so hard to meet. Like, again, I'm a fan of the Underfist movie, but it's not saying that everybody else is, and not like everyone else will like rank it above. And like, I mean, even nowadays with movies and whatnot, it's very hard for a sequel to surpass a first movie. It can be done. There are instances of it, but it is a rarity. But like these two specials were just ingrained in the Cartoon Network Halloween viewing cycle year after year after year. Like, yes, you have your people that love their 31 Days of Halloween on ABC Family turned into Freeform, but I was always one of those kids that I was more focused on watching my Cartoon Network specials year after year during the Halloween season. At least for me. Not that there weren't good Halloween movies and whatnot on like ABC Family at the time, but like even nowadays they like to kind of rotate through the exact same stuff.
Yeah. Same thing. I think even for Christmas too, or like well, this is obviously a little tangent, but like the Christmas movie I remember seeing mad, like I must have seen this movie like 8 times every year. It's like I don't know if you heard, like Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Oh,
Yeah, that's classic.
my God, that
Yeah, that's
movie got played into oblivion everywhere.
It just got to the point, like every time, like every Christmas, we can't cycle around. Or that one was particularly terrible.
I agree with you on that one. Grandma got run over by a reindeer is like,
oh my, it wasn't even a bad movie. It was just played out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it entirely depends on streaming rights. That was a thing back then, and it's a thing now. It's worse now just because like everyone wants to specifically own their streaming rights on their platform and have you pay for their platform to use it. Which again is why it's kind of silly at the very least, why like you get certain content on like HBO Max and then other content on Boomerang for Prime Video. Like, it's not the same content for both. And the Scooby-Doo stuff coming up will make you want the Boomerang on Prime Video more. But like the streaming rights for things are so important nowadays. Whoever owns them, the ball is in their court. They determine how things play out. And that's how you end up having like Hocus Pocus played like 20 million times on ABC Family / Freeform for Halloween. Because they own the rights. But I will say this. So I did look around. You can find the entire Scary Godmother movies on YouTube. I found them.
Yep.
The full ones are on there.
Crazy.
Like, yeah, pretty much. I guess don't go too crazy.
I'm not gonna lie.
Don't go too crazy because like the last thing we want is for them to get taken down. But you know, like they're
not too crazy.
Like I was genuinely surprised. I was fully expecting, like for those people that remember that period of time, like where anime episodes were split up into 3 on YouTube. I was fully expecting, like Scary Godmother to be like broken up into parts and be like, Scary Godmother Part 5 of 9, Scary Godmother Part 7 of 9, and like Scary Godmother Revenge of Jimmy Part 2 of 12. And, like, I was expecting that, not the full movies in DVD quality or 4K quality, just on YouTube as a whole. Like, they are.
If you want to know, Axel, if you want to know, and we brought this up like way earlier on, but the Jacked Up Halloween is also on there in very good quality.
I mean, I'm not as, because I can find the Jacked Up Halloween one on HBO Max. It's like I'm gonna for the people that don't have it, you can find it there. I need to. I know I can find the Ed, Edd n Eddy Halloween special on other sites, but I'm always going to be the kind of guy that tries to promote official releases if you can. Because, I mean,
Yes,
like,
sir.
I mean, when it comes down to it, when official releases get supported, you get more of it. Like,
Yeah.
you get more things added on. So it's like, oh, people enjoyed this. Well, maybe they'll enjoy these other things on the catalog that we can put on the streaming. Or, for new content, if things get streamed enough, they greenlight it for more seasons. That's how frickin' Young Justice, again, another tangent, but still, that's how Young
Shout out Young
Justice
Justice for sure.
was given
Yeah.
a third season, and then a
And a
fourth
fourth
season now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, sir.
if it wasn't for Netflix streaming it, like, it would have been dead in the water. And then, like, they were like, oh, well, we're not gonna put it on Netflix, we're gonna put it on our DC streaming service, which, oh my god, that was such a bomb. And then they were like, HBO Max, and it's like, hey, and it's like, I am glad I never paid for that DC streaming service. Jesus. That, like, there's narrow streaming services, and then there's what DC did, because it was literally like, hey, here's all of our DC animated stuff, and we're gonna have some live action shows and whatnot. And then it was just, it wasn't even like all of it, and like once you did watch, like, all of the relevant stuff is just like, all right, what's left? Like, you could, like, I guess you could read some comics as well from that service, but again, not all of them. So it was just like, this is could just run it into the ground.
It fell short of 2 years.
Yeah, jeez, like, I'm so glad that stuff did migrate over to HBO Max, because, like, there are great things that were made that were on the DC streaming service that got moved over, but, like, you can't offer a streaming service that narrow and expect it to do well for a long period of time. Like, it doesn't work that way.
It got to the point where every company was really trying to get their, like you said, every company was trying to get their streaming service. Like Disney Plus, they did it, but like Disney is like, they own half the world, damn near. So you can do it, Netflix, Hulu, them. But when you got to like DC, it was just like, well, they would just try and promote like the DCU and stuff like that. It was like, the market's big enough. I just don't think the market was big enough for you to expect a streaming service to do well.
Right.
It was just kind of terrible.
It makes more sense under HBO Max with the Turner Broadcasting umbrella. Like, it makes more sense that way than it ever did by itself. And like it's again, like, circling back to like CBS All Access and Paramount Plus, like CBS All Access wasn't that great when it was just like CBS stuff. Once they like moved it over to Paramount Plus, and they were like, all right, you can get CBS content, you can get VH1 content, MTV, Nickelodeon, like, then it started to make sense. I love my CBS All Access, or sorry, I love my Paramount Plus account now, because they keep adding like older seasons of Ink Master on. But like before that, like, I was watching it for Big Brother. Like, and I was forced to watch it for Big Brother, and like Survivor. So like, it's, if your service is too narrow, you will run into those problems. The only other one that like can definitely be described as a failure was frickin' Quibi. I don't know if either of you are familiar with what Quibi was, but
yeah, I don't even know.
Edenz, do you remember Quibi?
Quibi. Is like, was it spelled like QUIBI?
Yes.
What
was
was
Quibi.
like
It was like a streaming platform itself, right?
Yes.
Something like that.
So the whole
what
premise,
was like something they were known for, yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing. Quibi was all about having streaming things that were only on your phone and only 10 minutes or shorter. That was it. That was Quibi's platform. And they tried, like, they put in millions of dollars into streaming stuff, and it just flopped hard. Like,
yeah, I've never even
really
heard
hard.
of that. That's almost like,
and that's the thing.
Facebook.
Quibi came out a couple years ago. Like, it's a recent thing. It's not something
Exactly.
that was from like the beginning of the streaming era. No,
Renaissance,
this
yeah.
was a couple years ago, not even. Like it was
Yeah.
just
They must have done terrible.
oh, it was bad. They tried to sell. They desperately tried to sell and they couldn't. It was not good. Like it's and that's the thing is that like don't get me wrong, people enjoy watching short content when they can, but people like long form content. People also
Yeah,
like
you
to
have to
watch
have the
things
mix of
on
both.
their television, not just on their cell phone. Like, why limit yourself like that? Why? And that's why it died. And I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for them. I mean, like, I am angry that millions of dollars like that can just be thrown at something and just walked away from, but ugh. Quibi was bad. It was very bad.
Yeah. It will definitely be lost to in the panels of time.
Oh, absolutely. And well, no, you know what? I'm gonna keep making Quibi jokes just because I can. As long as I'm around, there will be jokes made at the expense of Quibi and at the expense of Build King because I will always
You
make
know,
jokes
no,
at the
it's
expense of
Quibi.
Build
Yeah, you're still
King.
holding on to that Bill King grudge.
I
Bill
I
King.
will.
Who's Bill King?
Oh my god! Don't get me started.
Don't get you started. All right, bet.
Yeah, you don't want to give.
I have
something.
several videos on my channel that you can reference for my disdain for Build King, so you can go watch those later.
You can go find the tweets, man. It's hilarious.
Oh my god! I
Say that, bet.
just I hate Build King. I hate Build King so much, and I'm a huge Toriko fan, and I freaking hate Build King with a passion. But I digress. Let's move away from Build King. Any last notes on Scary Godmother before we get into our last big topic? Then
With Scary Godmother, we pretty much said it. Like, obviously, the biggest thing that people say about it the most, outdated animation. Which, you know, for me personally, I can still go back and watch it just because of that nostalgia factor and still get that enjoyment out of it because of what you pointed out, Axel, which was the characters.
mm-hmm.
I think it was a very well done cast with the monsters. Even the MC. Oh, I just saw it. How does her name already escape me? But
Was it Emily?
Emma, something like that. Emily.
I think it was
I
Emily.
can't. Oh my god, Emily. Yeah, okay, yeah, Emily. But yeah, like you know, great cast. Still can go back and watch that anytime. But you know, that's just a few select individuals who remember that and feel that nostalgia for it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Anything from you, Drew, or are you gonna go watch it on YouTube after this is all said and done?
Yeah, nah, y'all threw mad Halloween specials. And it's even from shows I've seen, like Codename Kids Next Door and stuff. For the what was it called? The you said the Scary Grandmother, I think it was called.
Scary Godmother.
Scary Godmother, yeah. We might have to check it out. Animation looks crazy, but I mean it's 2000, so
Right.
can't really expect too much.
Right. Like, just considering what came out during that time. I mean,
It's probably yeah.
I mean, Shrek came out during that time, but like that was also like a full blown studio production CGI. But like, yeah, it just kind of goes to show like that was around the same-ish time. Scary Godmother, but again, it was more of like a small production movie for television kind of thing. So, yeah.